Welcome to High School Academic Derby, brought to you by the Onslow County Schools. Today we have a match between Northside and Jacksonville. Our scorekeeper for all of today's matches is Gail Thomas. And now let's meet our coaches and their players for the first round. Northside is coached by Rachel Livermore, and her players for this round will be
Scott Miller, 10th grade.
Justin Batista, 12th grade.
Jasmine Bryant, 11th grade.
Kevin Lynn, 10th grade.
The Jacksonville coach is Tony Zernheld. His players are
Austin Darty, senior.
Cale Quintero, senior.
Lizzie Coleman, senior.
Julian Nazat, 11th grade.
Players, your first toss-up deals with vocabulary. Nociception is the sensation of feeling what? Answer is pain. Next toss-up deals with Mexico. Name the Mexican mountain range that roughly parallels the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Jasmine.
Rio Grande.
Incorrect. Jacksonville. It's the Sierra Madre Oriental. Explorers. What explorer and fur trader who made several attempts to find an overland route across Canada finally succeeded in 1793 when he traveled up the Peace River, followed Indian trails over the Rockies, and then completed his quest on the Fraser River? Lizzie.
Henry Hudson.
Incorrect. Northside. Alexander Mackenzie. Toss-up dealing with legislation. Even after the 14th Amendment, Jim Crow legislation legalized what practice for a time? Jasmine.
Segregation.
Correct. For your bonus, the Boulder Canyon Project Act of 1928 authorized construction of what dam? Number 2. The National Security Act of 1947 established the National Security Council and what enormous federal intelligence agency? Number 3. What is the popular name for statutes that require mandatory sentences for offenders convicted of a third felony? Number 4. Partly to counter money laundering schemes, the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 requires banks to report any financial transactions that equal or exceed what dollar value? Justin?
For number 1, we have the Hoover Dam. For number 2, we have the CIA, or the Central Intelligence Agency. For number 3, we have minimum sentence. And for number 4, we have 1,000.
1 and 2 are correct for 4 points. Jacksonville, 3 or 4?
For number 4, we have $800.
Number 3 is the 3 strikes law, and number 4 is $10,000. Malapropisms. That is, words that were incorrectly chosen. What word was intended to be used in the following line to give it its proper meaning? We've only had those problems spasmodically. Jasmine.
Periodically.
Incorrect. Jacksonville? The answer is sporadically. Your next toss-up deals with solutions. 14% alcohol by volume could represent a solution made from 14 milliliters of alcohol plus enough solvent to bring the total volume to how many milliliters? Austin.
100 milliliters?
That's correct. For your bonus, number 1, a truck radiator holds 8 gallons of solution containing 40% ethylene glycol. How much of the solution should be drawn off and replaced by water to give a solution with just 25% ethylene glycol? Number 2, adding a solvent to a solution lowers the solution's what? Number 3, What major component of cleaning products, also known as a wetting agent or foamer, lowers the surface tension of the medium in which it is dissolved? Number 4. What procedure involves the separation of components in a solution by passing it across a semi-permeable membrane? Lizzie.
For number 2, we have concentration, and for number 4, we have diffusion.
Concentration's correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4, Northside.
For number 1, we have 15%. For number 3, we have soap. And for number 4, we have distillation.
Number 1, we need to have 3 gallons to come off. Number 3, a surfactant. And number 4, dialysis. Anthropology. What is the collective name for Indian tribes inhabiting the land north and south of the Great Lakes and extending from the Mississippi to the Atlantic? Jasmine.
Native American.
Incorrect. Jacksonville. Austin.
The Iroquois.
Algonquin. Your next toss-up deals with the properties of gas. Each molecule of this gas contains 3 atoms of carbon and 8 atoms of hydrogen. Name this gas used as a bottled fuel. Austin.
Octane.
Incorrect. North side. Justin.
Propane.
Propane is correct. For your bonus, number 1. It is an electrically neutral and highly ionized gas composed of ions and electrons and neural particles. It is the 4th state of matter and is estimated to constitute 99% of the universe. Name it. Number 2. Lime water is used to test for the presence of what gas? Number 3. What is the commercial name for methane or natural gas produced through the anaerobic decay of non-fossil organic matter? Number 4. Margarine manufacturers add molecules of what gas to unsaturated fat to increase its resistance to chemical change? Justin?
For number 1, we have plasma. For number 2, we have hydrogen. For number 3, we have nothing. And for number 4, we have carbon.
Number 1 is correct for 2 points. Jacksonville, 2, 3, or 4.
For number 3, we have ethanol.
Number 2 is carbon dioxide. Number 3 is called biogas. And number 4, hydrogen. Your next toss-up deals with battles. In what harbor was the battleship Maine last seen afloat? Austin.
Pearl Harbor.
Incorrect. North side. Beginning of the Spanish-American War, it was Havana Harbor. That's the end of our first round. We'll come back with a score in round 2 in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After one round, our score is Northside 10, Jacksonville 4. And we have new players to meet. First, from Northside, we have.
Ivan Rivera, 10th grade.
And from Jacksonville, we have.
Delphin Monahan, Jr.
Your first toss-up in this round deals with Shakespeare. Exactly what does Shylock want the court to award him in The Merchant of Venice? A pound of flesh. Your next toss-up deals with flowers. What is the term for the characteristic arrangement of flowers on the stem of a plant? Inflorescence. Your next toss-up deals with mistakes in language. What type of error is illustrated by these newspaper headlines? The first, Leahy wants FBI to help corrupt Iraqi police. And the second one, union demands increased unemployment. They could be understood two ways, and that's called ambiguity. Your next toss-up deals with waves. What portion of the electromagnetic spectrum is between infrared and ultraviolet? Scott?
Visible?
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, what is the term for moving up and down or back and forth in regular repeated cycles, as with a boat on ocean waves, a pendulum swinging, a guitar string vibrating, or someone on a pogo stick? Number 2, what is the term for a point or surface where the amplitude of a standing wave is 0? Number 3, what kind of ocean waves have the highest albedo? And number 4, what can be said about the relationship between wavelength and diffraction? Justin?
For number 1, we have bounce. For number 2, we have rest. For number 3, we have tsunamis. And for number 4, we have proportional.
None of those are correct. Jacksonville?
For number 1, we have frequency, and for number 3, we have whitecaps.
Whitecaps is correct for 2 points. The answer number 1 is any form of the verb to oscillate. And number 2, it's called a node, where the amplitude is 0. And the relationship is that longer waves diffract more than short waves. Your next toss-up deals with the Confederacy. The first capital of the Confederate States of America was in what city? Austin?
Richmond, Virginia.
Incorrect. North Side. Scott?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Montgomery, Alabama. Toss-up dealing with aeronautics. In aerodynamics, what is the term for the ratio between the distance traveled horizontally over the ground and altitude gained? Scott?
Slope?
Incorrect. Jacksonville? It's called, Austin?
Downrange.
It's called climb or climb rate, either one. U.S. history. When the Tuskegee Institute opened in Alabama in 1881, who was its principal? Booker T. Washington. Okay, next we have a quadratic equation, and I'll read it twice for you. Solve this equation for x. 6 times the quantity x squared plus 7x minus 3 equals 0. Solve this equation for x. 6 times the quantity x squared plus 7x equals, minus 3 equals 0. Justin?
X equals positive 9 or negative 2.
Incorrect. Jacksonville? Austin?
X equals negative 9 over 6 or x equals 2.
X equals 1/3 or negative 3/2 is what we have. Pronouns. What pronoun is the same in the nominative and objective case but different in the possessive case? Jasmine?
Her.
Incorrect. Jacksonville? Kale?
It.
It's you. For your next toss-up, this deals with motion. A rack and pinion gear transforms rotational motion into what other kind of motion? Austin?
Linear.
Linear is correct. For your bonuses, number 1, 9.8 meters per second is an expression of acceleration due to the force of what? Number 2, what kind of qualities are these attributes used in describing motion? And the attributes are time, distance, and speed. Number 3, what force always opposes motion? And number 4, name the stress or deformation caused when one end of an object is twisted in one direction and the other is held motionless or twisted in the opposite direction. Lizzie?
For number 1, we have gravity. For number 2, we have velocity. For number 3, we have friction. And for number 4, we have rotational.
1 and 3 are correct for 4 points north side. 2 or 4?
For number 2, we have derivatives of motion, and for number 4, we have torque.
Torque or torsion, I'll accept that. And the answer to number 2 is scalar quantities. Elections. In U.S. elections, what is the name for a list of brief summaries of a candidate's positions that is repeatedly used for speeches? Scott?
Platform.
Incorrect. North side. Jacksonville. They're called talking points. And that's the end of our second round. We'll come back with a lightning round in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
And after 2 rounds, we have a close game. Our score is Northside 14, Jacksonville 12. We have 2 new players to meet for the Northside team.
Ryan Wynn, sophomore.
Evan Hong, 10th grade.
In today's lightning round, all answers will begin with the same letter, and that letter is D. D is in David. Ready? A barrier built across a river to hold back Austin.
Dam.
Correct. Capital of Colorado. Jasmine.
Denver.
Correct. A legal document showing ownership of land. Jasmine.
Deed.
Correct. The capital of Delaware. Austin.
Dover.
Correct. Unit of money of Canada. University located in Durham, North Carolina. Austin.
Duke.
Correct. High explosive invented by Alfred Nobel. Lizzie.
Dynamite.
Correct. In The Lord of the Rings, they dug the mines of Moria. Lizzie.
Dwarves.
Right. The 3rd largest city in Texas. Lizzie.
Dallas.
Correct. An alphabetical list of words and definitions can be found in Jasmine.
Dictionary.
Correct. Famous Supreme Court case that had a hand in causing the Civil War. Lizzie.
Dred Scott.
Correct. Large molecule that controls heredity. Justin.
DNA.
Correct. Legal process by which a marriage is Justin.
Divorce.
That's right. Collies, Chihuahuas, German Shepherds, Cocker Spaniels, Austin.
Dogs.
Correct. Mythical beast slain by Saint George. Lizzie.
Dragon.
Correct. Nickname for the star Sirius. Lizzie.
Dog Star.
Correct. Author of Hans Brinker or the Silver Skates. Disease caused by the lack of adequate insulin in the body. Kale.
Diabetes.
That's right. A plan used by many libraries to classify books. Lizzie.
Dewey Decimal System.
Correct. The 2nd smallest state. Lizzie.
Delaware.
That's correct. We'll add in these points and come back with our final score in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
And I got so caught up in that fast-moving lightning round, I forgot to give you the answers to the only 2 that were not given correctly. The dollar is the unit of money in Canada, and Mary Mapes Dodge, wrote Hans Brinker. Our final score today is Jacksonville 38, Northside 24. Game number 2 between Southwest and Swansboro is coming up in just a moment, so please stay with us.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Miss Nicole Martin, our 2017-18 Onslow County Schools Teacher of the Year. Creative thinker, marvelous teacher, advocate for public education and students, and superhero, Miss Nicole Martin.
Onslow County has just been, is just the greatest district that anyone could ever ask to work for. And really, I know we have cameras in here, but you really have to turn it on these students. I mean, I couldn't do anything that I do if it wasn't for my students. My honors class is in here right now. They were working really hard. And some of my student leaders are in here. They work so hard to help make everything possible and to have a supportive principal and a supportive district that really enables us to do everything that we do here in Onslow County.
Welcome back to High School Academic Derby. Our second match today is between Southwest and Swansboro. Let's meet the coaches and their players. We'll start with the Swansboro team, coached by Christina Golden. Her players are
Isabella Willis, junior. Christina Stair, senior.
Nicole Plaster, senior.
Sophia Colvin, senior.
the Southwest coaches are Krista Watts and Julie Pollock. Their players for this round will be Evan.
Evan Morley, junior.
Kaylee Silence, sophomore.
Kalijah Moore, senior. Mackenzie Bowles, freshman.
Toss-up number 1. What kind of arc includes a sensory receptor, an afferent neuron, the brain or spinal cord, an efferent neuron, and an effector organ? It's called a reflex arc or reflex arc. Math toss-up, I'll read it twice for you. A line has a slope of negative 1.5. On that line are these points, negative 2, 6, and x, negative 9. What is the value of x? A line has a slope of negative 1.5. On that line are points negative 2, 6, and x, negative 9. What is the value of x? And the answer, players, is 8. Next, a grammar toss-up. Pronouns have case. What is the case of the pronoun that's just before the gerund in the following sentence? I truly resented his criticizing the technique I used to plant the prize roses. Christina.
Lowercase.
Incorrect. Southwest. Kalijah.
Present.
It's the possessive. You have possessive, subjective, and objective case. Poetry toss-up. The following lines are from a very long poem by what British author? God save thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why look'st thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. And that poem is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Sports medicine. At about mile 18 to 20, most marathon runners feel they simply cannot go on any farther. Their reserves are gone, their strength is gone, they're nauseous, and their legs are in pain. What is the three-word phrase for this point in a race? And they call it hitting the wall. Optics. For a one-way mirror to work, two conditions must be met. First, the silver backing of the mirror must have only about half the normal amount of silver. Second, how must the level of light in the observation room compare with that in the interrogation room? Elijah?
Has to be higher.
Incorrect. Swansboro? Christina?
It has to be lower.
It has to be lower. For your bonus, number 1, chromatic and spherical are two types of defects in the images formed by lenses and curved mirrors. What A word, that is, word beginning with an A, names these defects? Number 2, what noun describes the property of a material that permits the passage of radiation, but not without some scattering or diffusion? Number 3, of plane, convex, and concave mirrors, which produces virtual images sometimes called mirror images. And number 4, abbreviated as R in a concave mirror, the distance from the vertex to the center of curvature is known as the what of curvature? Christina.
For 2, we have passive. For 3, we have convex. And for 4, we have radius.
Radius is correct for 2 points. Southwest, 1, 2, or 3?
For 3, we have concave.
Number 3 is a plane. Number 2, the answer was translucence. Number 1, aberration. Another math toss-up that'll be read twice for you. Determine the midpoint of the line segment from 2, 3 to 2, -7. Determine the midpoint of the line segment from the points 2, 3 to the point 2, -7. Kalijah?
0, -2.
Incorrect. Swansboro? Christina?
2, 5.
It's 2, -2. Okay, that's the end of our first round. We'll come back with round number 2 right after this.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only
prevent wildfires.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After one round of some pretty difficult questions, our score is Swansboro 4, Southwest 0. We have some new players to meet for Southwest.
Sullivan Brown, freshman.
Tani Romo, sophomore.
Zachary Jarman, junior.
Rachel Scos, junior.
First toss-up deals with Asia. Muhammad Ali Jinnah once worked to achieve Hindu-Muslim unity in India. Later, he became president of the Muslim League and campaigned for a separate Muslim homeland, a goal he achieved in 1947 with the establishment of what new nation partitioned from India? Christina.
Bangladesh.
Incorrect. Southwest? It's Pakistan. Homonyms. Spell the noun meaning a musical show consisting of skits and songs, which is a homonym for another word meaning a written critical report on a theatrical work or presentation. The homonyms are review, R-E-V-U-E, which we were looking for, and R-E-V-I-E-W. Your next toss-up deals with oil. What is a more common name for Karajan shale? It's called oil shale. Ornithology. What group of native people apparently consumed the moa to extinction? Christina?
The Maori.
The Maori is correct. For your bonus, answer these questions also dealing with birds. Number 1, finches, pigeons, owls, and flickers belong to what biological class? Number 2, what kind of swan has a deep, resonant, brassy voice? Number 3, what American naturalist and painter produced a 4-volume work consisting of 435 hand-colored aquatints of North American feathered bipeds? Number 4, the Fiesta de las Golondrinas in San Juan Capistrano celebrates the annual return of what kind of birds? Christina.
For 3, we have Audubon.
That's correct for 2 points. 1, 2, or 4, Southwest?
We have nothing.
Number 1, aves. Number 2, the trumpeter swan. Number 4, swallows. Your next toss-up deals with liquids. The French chemist Antoine Baume, B-A-U-M-E, invented what instrument with a graduated scale used for measuring the relative density of liquids? Zachary.
Graduated cylinder.
Incorrect. Swansboro. It's called a hydrometer. Next toss-up deals with history of the Middle Ages. What is the 2-word collective name for these weapons used during the Middle Ages to attack castles and fortresses? Ballista, mangonel, trebuchet, battering ram, catapult. They were called siege weapons. Algebra question, I'll read it twice for you. Simplify the following expression. 1/3 times the quantity 6a plus 3b. Simplify 1/3 times the quantity 6a plus 3b. Zachary.
2a plus b.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, simplify this expression. 4x times the quantity, open parenthesis, 2x minus 3, close parenthesis, plus 2x times the quantity, open parenthesis, x minus 1, close parenthesis. Number 2, simplify the square root of the quantity 36p squared times the quantity q cubed. Number 3, simplify the following. The quantity 2a plus 3b divided by 18, quantity 2a plus 3b divided by 18, minus the quantity 5a minus 6b divided by 24. And number 4, simplify this expression. Quantity x squared minus 1 divided by the quantity x squared minus 5x plus 4. Okay, Zachary.
For number 1, I got 10x squared minus 14x. And that's it.
And that is correct for 2 points. 2, 3, or 4, Swansboro?
For 4, we have 5x. Or rather, we have 1 plus 5x plus 4 over x squared minus 1.
Okay, the answers I have are, for number 2, 6p times the quantity q times the square root of q. For number 2, quantity 7a minus 30b divided by 72. And for number 3, the quantity x plus 1 divided by the quantity x minus 4. And that's the end of round 2. We'll come back with a lightning round right after this.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After 2 rounds, the score is Swansboro 8, Southwest 4. We have new players to meet for both teams, and we'll start with Swansboro.
Alejandro Rivera, freshman.
And for Southwest, we have
April Gower, junior.
Jakari Coles, junior.
Marla Starling, freshman.
players. In our lightning round today, all of the answers will begin with a number. prefix, like mono or di or something like that, all right? Number 1, a child's vehicle with 3 wheels. Mackenzie. I'm sorry, Christina, I called the wrong name, my fault.
Tricycle?
Tricycle is correct. Number 2, a polynomial of the 2nd degree. Christina.
Quadratic?
Correct. 5 children born at the same time. Mackenzie.
Quintuplets?
Correct. The belief that there is only one God. Christina.
Monotheism?
That's right. A vehicle with only 1 wheel. Alejandra.
Unicycle.
Correct. A span of 10 years. April. Okay. Headquarters for the Department of Defense. Alejandra.
Pentagon.
Correct. An arthropod with 100 legs. Mackenzie.
Centipede.
Right. 1,000 years. Christina.
Millennia?
Correct. A stand or support with 3 legs. Alejandro?
Tripod.
Correct. Person who cannot move his arms or legs. Isabella?
Paraplegic.
Incorrect. Walking on 2 legs or feet. Alejandro?
Bipedal.
That's right. A regular plane figure with 12 sides. Okay. The type of airplane flown by the Red Baron Manfred von Richthofen at the end of his life. Mackenzie.
Biplane?
Incorrect. A musical group with 2 members. Jakari.
A duet.
Right. A 3-volume story or literary work. Christina?
A trilogy?
That's correct. Having the basic chromosome number doubled. Half of a circle. Jakari?
A half circle.
Incorrect. Half of a globe. Mackenzie?
Hemisphere?
That's correct. A polyhedron with 4 faces. Okay? The ones that we did not answer correctly, a span of 10 years is a decade. A person who cannot move his arms or legs is a quadriplegic. A regular plane figure with 12 sides is a dodecagon. The Red Baron had switched over to a triplane at the end of his flying career. The basic chromosome number doubled is called a diploid. Half of a circle is a semicircle, and a polyhedron with 4 faces is a tetrahedron. We'll add in our lightning round points and come back with the final score in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Today's final score is Swansboro 32, Southwest 14. We have one more match today. That's between our early college team and Northside. So please stay with us. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Miss Nicole Martin, our 2017-18 Onslow County Schools Teacher of the Year. Creative thinker, marvelous teacher, advocate for public education and students, and superhero, Miss Nicole Martin.
Onslow County has just been is just the greatest district that anyone could ever ask to work for. And really, I know we have cameras in here, but you really have to turn it on these students. I mean, I couldn't do anything that I do if it wasn't for my students. My honors class is in here right now. They were working really hard, and some of my student leaders are in here. They work so hard to help make everything possible and to have a supportive principal and a supportive district that really enables us to do everything that we do here in Onslow County.
And welcome back to High School Academic Derby, brought to you by the Onslow County Schools. We're back for our third match of the day, this one between Northside and Early College. Let's meet our coaches and players. We'll start with Northside, whose coach is Rachel Livermore, and her players are
Scott Miller, 10th grade.
Justin Batista, senior.
Jasmine Bryant, 11th grade.
Victor Araton, 10th grade.
The Early College team is coached by Deborah Kellum, and her players are
Keyshawn Henry, freshman.
Cameron Davis, freshman.
Alyssa Sabella, freshman.
Colin Davis, freshman.
Players toss-up number one deals with the history of Spain. Louis XIV's last war was fought in the early 18th century over the question of who should succeed to the throne of Spain. Name this conflict. Scott.
The War of Spanish Succession.
That's correct. For your bonus, number one, what kind of building are you visiting if you find yourself in an Alcazar? That's spelled A-L-C-A-Z-A-R. Number two, what leader declared Spanish neutrality in World War II when he could not reach an agreement with Hitler about post-war control of Gibraltar and French Morocco? Number three, in 1522, some called him Captain General of New Spain. To others, he was the Marquis of the Valley of Oaxaca. Who was this conquistador? Number four, those who supported Don Carlos and his descendants as the rightful heirs to the Spanish throne were collectively known as what? Justin.
For number one, we have Church. For number two, we have Mussolini. For number three, we have Cortez. And for number four, we have...
Cortez is correct for 2 points for number three. 1, 2, or 4, Early College.
For one, we have Museum.
Number 1 is a palace. We'd also accept a fortress or castle. Number 2 is Francisco Franco. And number 4, they were called the Carlists after their support for Don Carlos. Your next toss-up is dealing with 19th century U.S. history. At age 13, he played in the U.S. Marine Corps Band. At 16, he led a vaudeville orchestra. In 1880, he became the leader of the U.S. Marine Corps Band. Name this composer and bandmaster. John Philip Sousa. Athens. Name the person I'm describing from these facts. I captured and married Hippolyta. My father was king of Athens. I killed the Minotaur. Scott.
Perseus.
Say it again.
Perseus.
Incorrect. Early college. Theseus is the correct answer. Meteorology. What name beginning with a Z for a soft, gentle breeze was taken from an ancient Greek name for the west wind? That's a zephyr. Next question is a math calculation, so I'll read it twice for you. You have a 13-foot pole. When you place one end 5 feet from the base of the wall, the top of the pole just rests on the top of the wall. How high is that wall? You have a 13-foot pole. When you place one end 5 feet from the base of the wall, the top of the pole just rests on the top of the wall. How high is the wall? Scott.
12 feet.
Correct. For your bonus, these math questions. Number 1, in a right triangle, the hypotenuse is 25 inches and one leg is 24 inches. What is the length of the other leg? Number 2, the angles in a triangle are in the ratio of 3 to 5 to 10. What is the measure of the smallest angle in that triangle? Number 3, what are the 3 measures of the interior angles of an isosceles right triangle? Number 4, in an isosceles right triangle, what is the measure of each base angle? Justin.
For number 1, we have nothing. For number 2, we have 30. And for number 3, we have 45. And for number 4, we have 90.
Number 2 is correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4, early college.
For number 1, we have 9.
Number 1, the measure is 7 inches. And number 3, there were 3 measures we needed, 45, 45, and 90. And number 4 is 45. And that's the end of one round. We'll come back with our second round and our scores in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After the first round, our score is Northside 8, Early College 0. We have new players to meet for both teams, and we will start with Northside.
Nathaniel, 10th grade.
And for the Early College team,
Jack Wilds, freshman.
toss-up number 1 deals with minerals. What additional molecule incorporated in the crystal structure of gypsum is not in anhydrite? Water is the answer. Grammar questions. Modifiers. To form the superlative of modifiers with 3 or more syllables, either of what 2 words are added? Scott.
Most or best.
Most. The other, of course, is least. All right, so for your bonus, number 1, also dealing with grammar. Intensifiers add force or meaning to adjectives, adverbs, and to what other part of speech? Number 2, what category of adjectives is illustrated in the following dialogue? What do you think of this racket? I don't like that racket. I prefer those rackets. Do you mean these rackets? Number 3, for the comparative and superlative degrees, the inflected suffixes IER and IEST are needed for 2-syllable adjectives ending in what letter? Number 4, what 2 degrees of comparison are illustrated in this quip? When it comes to foreign food, the less authentic, the better. When it comes to foreign food, the less authentic, the better. Justin.
For number 1, we have verbs. For number 2, we have pronouns. For number 3, we have the letter Y. And for number 4, we have less and better.
1 and 3 are correct for 4 points. Early College, 2 or 4?
We don't have anything.
Number 2, these words are called demonstrative adjectives. And number 4, the 2 degrees are positive and comparative. Next toss-up deals with inventors. What 19th century inventor developed a means by which an engineer could set the brakes throughout an entire train with a steam-driven air pump? His name was Westinghouse. State geography. Ellis Island, the main entry point for immigrants coming to the U.S. in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, is at the mouth of what river in New York Harbor? Jasmine.
Hudson.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, the enormous Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness Area is in what state? Number 2, name the highest mountain in the contiguous United States. Number 3, what river flows through Trenton, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Wilmington, Delaware? Number 4, Yosemite is one of 4 national parks in California. Name any 2 of the other 3. Justin.
For For number 1, we have Washington. For number 2, we have McKinley. For number 3, we have Delaware. And for number 4, we have Redwood and Red Forest.
Delaware River is correct for number 3 for 2 points. 1, 2, or 4, Early College.
For number 2, we have McHenry.
Number 1, the answer is the state of Idaho. Number 2 is Mount Whitney. And number 4, the other national parks are Kings Canyon, Lassen, and Death Valley. Math toss-up. So again, I'll read it twice for you, but it's a quick one. What is the cosine of 180 degrees? What is the cosine of 180 degrees? Justin.
-1.
-1 is correct. For your bonus, again, math questions. Number 1, the sine function is negative in which 2 quadrants? Number 2, for an angle of 0 degrees, what is the cosine? Number 3, in a right triangle with a hypotenuse of 15, a longer leg of 12, and a shorter leg of x, what is the cosine of the angle between the hypotenuse and the longer leg? Number 4, a right triangle with legs of 5 and 12 feet has a hypotenuse of 13 feet. If B is the angle between the shorter side and the hypotenuse, what is the cosine of B? Justin.
For number 1, we have quadrants 3 and 4. For number 2, we have 0. And for number 3, we have x over 15.
Number 1's correct for 2 points. 2, 3, or 4, Early College?
For 3, we have 9.
For number 2, it is the answer is 1. Number 3, 4/5. Number 4, 5/13, or 0.385. And that ends our second round. We'll come back with the score and the lightning round right after this.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair. Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After 2 rounds, Northside leads by a score of 22-0. We have some new players to meet for both schools. We'll start with Northside.
Wyatt Revis, sophomore. Jaheim White, sophomore.
And for the early college team,
Kara James, freshman.
Jesse Johnson, freshman.
players in today's lightning round. All of your answers should begin with the letter E. E is in easy, okay? Number 1, vibration or series of vibrations of the Earth's crust. Jack.
Earthquake.
Correct. Second book of the Old Testament. Jaheim.
Exodus.
Correct. The spiny anteater, an Australian monotreme. The most heavily populated Arab nation. Jesse.
Egypt.
Correct. Process that prevents the decay of the dead. Shaheem. Okay. An astronomical event when one celestial body blocks the light of another. Jaheem.
Eclipse.
Correct. Capital of the Canadian province of Alberta. Joint connection between the upper and lower arm. Jaheem.
Elbow.
Right. Titles of the later rulers of Rome and the current ruler of Justin.
Emperor.
Correct. Tower that dominates the sky. Justin.
Eiffel.
Correct. U.S. president whose nickname Justin.
Eisenhower.
Correct. Valuable bright green gemstone. Jaheem.
Emerald.
That's right. Process of choosing leaders by voting. Jaheem.
Election.
Correct. A speech in praise or commemoration of the dead. Justin.
Eulogy.
That's right. The scientist who devised this. Justin.
Einstein.
Correct. In chemistry, a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler. Justin.
Element.
Right. The national bird of the United States. Wyatt.
Eagle.
Correct. An American writer, leader of the Transcendentalist. Justin.
Ernest Hemingway.
Incorrect. The study of insects. Jaheem.
Entomology.
That's correct. A mathematical statement of equality. Kara.
Expression.
Incorrect. Okay, the ones that we didn't get right. The spiny anteater is called an echidna. Embalming is the process of preventing the decay of the dead. Edmonton is the capital of Alberta. And Ralph Waldo Emerson was the leader of the Transcendentalist movement. And an equation is the mathematical statement of equality. We'll add in our lightning round points and be back with a final score right after this.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Our final score today is Northside 50, Early College 8. As you know, High School Academic Derby is a program brought to you by the Onslow County Schools. Join us next week when Early College will be back to take on Jacksonville. Dixon will play Swansboro, and then Jacksonville will return to face White Oak.